The Jones family is a family of farmers. Vegetable farmers, to be precise, on some of the best vegetable growing land in the world.
This area actually is a microclimate that European settlers recognized as being really one of the best growing conditions in the world. In fact, the soil that we're on is all old lake bottom. Lake Erie is the shallowest of all the Great Lakes, consequently it's the warmest, and it really creates a tremendous microclimate for growing vegetables. At one point, this county hosted the largest concentration of vegetable growers of any county in the world. It peaked in 1930.
My father started a vegetable operation back in the early 60s. It was a large wholesale operation, farmed conventionally, grew that business to a little over 1,000 acres.
But even good farmers on great soil can suffer a change of fortune overnight.
Interest rates had hit 21%, and we had a hailstorm that completely and totally wiped out my parents' lifetime of work. And I stood at 19 years old and watched 25 years of their work be sold at a sheriff's sale. And there really were kind of limited options as to what we were going to do to be able to survive in agriculture. We had no money. There wasn't a bank that would give us a dime. And we needed to be able to do something where we could convert products to cash quickly. And the farmers' markets were an obvious choice for us. At the farmers' market, we met a lady. She was a chef, and she had trained in Europe, and she was looking for squash blossoms. And it was really kind of an unheard of thing at that time. And you can go to any farmer's market today and find a dozen farmers that have a squash blossom, but 25 years ago, it was a little bit out there on the edge for farmers to think about harvesting a squash blossom. But she really kind of introduced us to a whole new world. And she went on to introduce us to another chef and another chef and another chef. And they wanted everything different than what we were used to growing and the way we had been trained about commercial and chemical. You know, here's this chef saying, look, I want you to select the variety that has the best flavor. I'm not worried about the variety that has the most yield. I want it to be the best flavor, and I want it to be an heirloom variety that's chemical-free, grown the right way. And, you know, it was kind of against the grain. Everything in the United States was about tons per acre and how we can produce the most volume, commercial production, chemical growing. And we started totally focusing on chef's needs.
And so the Jones family farm became the chef's garden.
On the farm, we grow a little over 1,000 different species of plants. That's made up of vegetables, lettuce, greens, herbs, edible flowers, a few fruits, many different species of crops. A lot of those actually have been requests from chefs over the years. Chefs have said, well, if you're growing tomatoes, could you grow basil? If you're growing basil, how about a couple of different varieties of basil? That really has kind of opened up a whole new realm of custom farming. Chefs will request a certain crop, a certain variety, a certain size, and we'll grow that for them. What we're looking for is the carrot that tastes the best, because that's what our customers are asking us for. Our chefs really don't care what the yield is. They want to know what the flavor is. And then once we've got the best flavored orange carrot, what other carrots colors do you have? Early on in our process of transitioning from a more conventional to a more sustainable operation, we really weren't sure how that was going to work out. We had an idea from the relationships that we had developed with chefs that they were searching just as we were searching. We were searching for a farming model that would allow us to continue to do what we love to do, which is farm. Those chefs were searching for a product that actually would taste good and be nutritious, and so they told us that they would pay for products grown the right way. This rye and vetch that we're standing in today is a cover crop that we use within our sustainable farming method as a way to revitalize soil and rebuild soil in a natural way. The vetch here has the ability to pull nitrogen from the air. These plants, very natural phenomenon of a leguminous plant, is its ability to harvest nitrogen from the air, store it in nodules along the roots, but then as we turn this cover crop into the ground, it becomes food for the next crop. And it really has become a way of living, a way of farming. Things like cover crops, composting, crop rotation, things like lime and gypsum and soft rock. Those are all natural ingredients, came from the earth, going back into the earth to build the soils up naturally in a way that yields food that tastes better and is more nutritious, has longer shelf life. That's really what our chefs are telling us they want, food quality.
Over the years, the Jones family has made their business not just about growing vegetables, but about growing relationships.
We're learning from each other. Sometimes chefs teach us the food business, we teach them agriculture. We're really kind of crossing over into each other's worlds.
But perhaps the best example of the relationship between chefs and the chef's garden are their earth-to-table dinners, where chefs can come in, tour the farm and the greenhouses, pick their own produce, and use it to produce a meal in the chef's garden's state-of-the-art test kitchen.
So first course today is going to be a spring garlic soup, made from the spring garlic here at Chef's Garden. And the garnish is going to be some of this beautiful sage and beautiful flat leaf Italian parsley, also from the garden here.
There's such diversity and creativity amongst the chefs, and in many ways it's kind of like us offering them, instead of the 8-pack of crayons, the 64-pack. We grow about 700 different types of vegetables currently, and doing research on 250 to 300 new products.
So I knew I wanted to stuff a pork loin today, so when I was in the garden and I saw this beautiful chard, I knew right away that this would make for a great stuffing. Just lightly braised with some garlic and some onions, and then mixed with some breadcrumbs and stuffed into a nice, all organic pork loin, and you've got a wonderful dish.
We have chefs here all the time to be able to come in, to be able to do tastings, taste product, come into the Culinary Vegetable Institute, and be able to play with the product and come up with new menu recipes. And it's just that synergy between chef and farmer. It's kind of like 1 + 1 = 6. It's the symbiotic relationship that really makes this a special place.
It's all about the chef. The chef really runs the Chef's Garden. We service some of the best chefs in the world. We had 457 chefs on the farm last year. And these aren't hot dog cooks. These are the best chefs in the world. You can't get more rewarding than that.
This is a way of life. It's not just a career choice. Farming the way that we're farming and working with nature, it's a very humbling experience. We really are learning every day, working with the soil. That first plowed, turned earth in the spring and that smell of that fresh soil, it's so invigorating. It really is a way of life and a passion that exists in all of us.
If we were doing this for the money, we would have quit a long time ago. It's the greatest gift in the world to be able to work with our family and for us to be able to survive in agriculture and to be able to provide something meaningful. It's the greatest reward in the world.
Only 3% of the population of the United States involved in agriculture. Nobody has those connections anymore. And we lose something when we lose that. We're fortunate enough to work with it every day. I think it's the greatest occupation in the world. I don't see how you could do any better.